It is I, Joel, when I'm in the bedroom putting on a show. Your mother and both your sisters know that Stud Muffin's gonna pick his handsome ass up and go unless we turn on Kayfabe Talk Radio.
You are listening to Kayfabe Talk Radio.
I don't roll with anybody unless you rolling up the weed. What's that supposed to mean? The lifestyle that keeps me focused, G. I keep talking to potent and live my life in the moment. Excel the bullshit out below, spread positivity and own it. Got the bonus thrown on us, so I take the game like it's Cronus. Living out my wildest dreams with my fellow performers. The destination, Mount Olympus. The journey ain't specific, I became my own god. Once I cut out religion, I see people out there living life so masochistic and gaining pleasures from others' pain. It is so sadistic, but I can fix it. See, you put the focus on yourself, stop being materialistic. Focus on clothing and your wealth. An antagonist to those that are abstinent. My prophylactic ship from protagonist to activists looking for catalysts in which the world will change. Break free from the pain. Reign remains in the domains in which we maintain. Balance your life and you will see what meditation contains. And ingrain the attitude that you can inside of your brain. Know what brings your life balance. Keep it on deck. You're changing nothing compared to the crystals that I rock on my neck. I'm on a personal voyage to achieving self-actualization. Take a minute, I'm enjoying the view with such admiration. Know that negativity hits your life for a duration. Those times too shall pass as darkness seeds a celebration. But it's all good.
And if you fucking with us,
I said it's all good.
You can't not what up.
I said it's all good.
And everybody turn up. I say it's all good. I say it's all good. I say it's all good. So you just look inside yourself.
It's all good.
And you just find your inner wealth.
It's all good.
So everybody sing along.
I say it's all good. I say it's all good. I say it's all good.
It's all good. All good.
All right, everyone. This is the 115th episode of Kayfabe Talk Radio. Before anything, just want to give a quick plug and shout out to one of my good friends, Murdoch. The song you heard in the intro on this download is his song All Good, produced and featuring Leroy Green. So check out www.campnaz.com and, check out more of the music. But regardless of which, for this episode of KTR, thank you all for tuning in. I am Eric the Red, joined along with, as always,
Mr. Bonesaw.
We got a heavy thing to talk about. This isn't going to be... we're going to save a lot of the... and I hate to be this thing where it's, let's flush out the bad news and get into all the funny stuff later, but it's pretty much... This has pretty much been the talk of the wrestling world for the past week. There's been 4 wrestling deaths, unfortunately, which is completely rare. Like... let alone all within, the same weekend. So, I guess the first one we'll talk about is Nikolai Volkov. Nikolai Volkov, he passed away at the age of 70. And he had a lot of heart problems. And ultimately he was supposed to be getting heart surgery, or it was recommended, and he chose not to. He chose not to get it at all, and wanted to basically go out naturally.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard too much about his heart issues. I mean, now that I know about this, it's kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's usually the common cause of besides death in ring is usually a heart attack. That's the major killer of professional wrestlers. I'm actually kind of curious about this. Did Sheik have anything to say about him passing? Because I know they were close.
Absolutely, he's completely heartbroken. he's, from the stuff you would expect him to say, calling him his brother, saying he loves him and misses him, and, he's, thankful that he had him in his life. Sheik was highly, outspoken and respectful of his long-lost friend.
Yeah, that's good. I kind of figured that that would be the case. They were really close when they were in WWF, and then also they worked a lot of the indies later on towards the mid part of the 90s. They were pretty much inseparable. They were always working together as a tag team, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty hard for Sheik, and it's kind of sad because we're kind of doing this more and more often as our show goes on, but we're constantly saying condolences and having to say goodbye to another talented wrestler, and now we've had 4 deaths just in this week alone, and 3 on the same day. It's tough.
Yeah, I'll read some of what Sheik wrote. I'm looking through his Facebook page, which is connected to his Twitter. But I'll combine this into one post since the first one really wasn't that much. But his first post, going right into the second, he wrote, "My best friend, my partner, my brother. We got more heat than anyone on earth. I trusted him with my life. He took care of me when I was down. I will miss you forever. We had to wear wigs and disguises when we went to restaurants because everyone hated us. Nikolai said no more eating out. We would have to have food in the hotel room. Vince tells us, you have the white hot heat. Once Nikolai sung the national anthem, we didn't even have to wrestle. I miss him and love him. Hashtag Nikolai Volkov."
That's a testament of how well regarded they were as heels, or how infamous they were as heels, and just the how over they were, and how hated as heels, and you gotta at least give him his due, his respect for what he was able to do and accomplish during his time in the company, and it's one of those things where he took a kind of a generic way of getting heel heat, and he made himself get all this heat, get all this anger, and when you think about it, it's like he transcended his own gimmick. You don't usually see somebody you have these corny gimmicks where you're drawing heat from your nationality, and at the time that was the Soviet Union. He wasn't actually Russian, but it was so easy for someone to just piggyback off the animosity of Russia and the Cold War, and he did something with it and made it his own, and you're never going to see another a Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah, another thing I want to bring up with this is one of the things I saw a lot back in the day was if you went to a signing and it said, and on the bill it was saying Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov was most likely always going to be with him. Those guys, Nikolai Volkov, back in like this time period, it was always, what the fuck? It was Nikolai was always either with Duggan or he was with Sheik. Even like when I met them again, and unfortunately this was the last time I met Nikolai, was a little over 5 years ago, and he was just one of the nicest people. He really didn't remember me really at all, but he was just a pleasure to talk to. He had no problem. He had no problem going, a little bit of the extra mile for the fans. He treated himself, even though he was a heel, he treated the way he conducted himself outside the ring as a babyface. And oddly enough, he actually did remember my dad. As like that's been pretty much said a lot to a lot of guys, but Nikolai was one of the guys where he remembered him. So. It's a testament to when you're someone in the business and you have so much heat. Like Elliot had said it himself, that a lot of times the heels are the nicest people, and that's a lot of times more true than not, because Nikolai hadn't gotten so much heat by just simply singing another country's national anthem that's not even his, and he was despised for it. And then it's like, later in life, people fucking respected him because they're like, hey, this guy put so much craft into his work, as simple as it was, and outside the business, he was a fucking good guy. So
I honestly, after this has happened, I haven't really heard anybody. Usually, you always have somebody that's like, oh, this guy's a motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. You didn't really hear too much about him. You heard mostly good things about him.
I've heard that this guy basically came to work, showed up, did what he had to do, come to an autograph signing, did what he had to do, spend time with family. He was not known as, like, you don't really hear too many really bad shoot interviews of him, and
it shows you how much of a professional and how much of a decent human being he was.
It was really upsetting, obviously, for my dad, because, like I said, not only did he meet him plenty of times and he got to work with him on indie cards, but my dad, like, this is, and I'm not trying to make it sound like, this is how old Nikolai really is, but Nikolai goes back to my dad's childhood, because my dad was afraid of this tag team down in Florida called the Mongols, and Nikolai was one of them. And the Mongols were this tag team. It was him and somebody else, I forgot. But I'm trying to remember who the other guy was. Anyone could really look it up. I know it was 100% a Canadian wrestler, but yeah, they were like, they had like a really fucking like terrifying look. If like, well, not a terrifying look, but they had like an interesting look, and they were just like scary strong. And then like to like a 7-year-old dad to my dad at the time was 7 years old or whatever. 8 years old, yeah, they would look like they would be a little fucking terrifying. Here, I'll send you what they look like. Clearly the one on the right is Nikolai.
Oh, it was Newton Tatry.
Yes, there you go, that's it.
They were actually managed by Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah.
Huh. That's actually pretty interesting.
Guido Mongo, that's it. That was his name.
He had a pretty long career, but I mean, he wrestled Bruno. He did a lot of stuff that a lot of people in the business would have considered crowning achievements. Being a tag team champion, being a main event with Bruno during his run.
Sure.
It's one of these it's one of these careers where we like to look at Undertaker as the guy who has had this career where he's gone through the years for decades, and he's had a career since the early 90s in up until now, and you look at guys like this, and he had a career from the 60s up until the early to mid 90s. Even he was still on the circuit doing stuff. Even now.
He just wrestled like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Like, the guy was fucking wrestling for about 50 years. So, it's a testament to how much he really was passionate about the business.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace, Nikolai. Our condolences here go out, to his family. And, it's a sincere, this is a sincere statement that we're making. We're not trying to make this as generic as possible. I mean, obviously, there's, with the four deaths, it's going to sound a little repetitive, but it's not. This isn't exactly a common thing. So, but we as much as we all like to joke around, Pat and myself, and every one of
this
our
is
friends,
a serious condolences.
This is us. This is the real side of KTR, or the real side of us coming out. Next up, the next person. We have talked about him a few, I believe it was a show or two ago. Brickhouse Brown. There was, he had died. He was, believed to
it was a false report, and it was.
Well, no, he actually did. Yeah, it was a false report.
I know it was a false report at the time, and then he passed away not too long afterwards.
Well, no, yeah, he was alive. He was. Somehow alive, talking, and then this past week he had passed away.
He had cancer, right?
Yes, yeah. Stage 4 of prostate.
Yeah. That's sad because it's like. Sometimes it's hard because you think the person's going to somehow make a recovery, especially considering they made the report of him passing, and then they had to retract the report because he hadn't in fact passed away, and then basically a week later then he does pass away. Though that has to be hard for the family because you think that maybe that it gives you some hope that the person's going to somehow get past it, and then suddenly it's just any type of hope and any type of thoughts that maybe that you'll get past that situation kind of gets yanked away. It's believe me, it's hard seeing somebody slowly pass away in a hospital. And anyone who's been there and seen somebody slowly pass away, it's hard. And I bet you a lot of our viewers. I mean, I've seen it. I bet you've seen a similar situation, and you gotta give your condolences out to the family. And
yeah,
what do you? personally never followed too much of his work. What can you tell me about Brick House?
Brick House, I've known the name for a couple of years. I really didn't see myself. I didn't follow his entire career. I do know that, and I've seen a lot of, him, or anything I have seen of him mostly was from him in Memphis. I know he was, obviously in his real prime in the 80s in Memphis, and he's done work in Texas for World Class, but I really just saw him a lot from watching footage from USWA, which was pretty much at the time, it pretty much for a while it became like the breeding ground for WWF during the time of the new generation. And Brick House has even done dark matches and squash matches for WWF, working against all different guys. I didn't see any of those matches, but I am reading that he's done matches with the likes of Triple H, Henry Godwin, and a few others. But that's just to name a few. So he obviously, and it's not to slight him, and it's not to say anything. He was a lesser known talent, but nonetheless, it's still someone within the wrestling community that, unfortunately, in 57 is still young. It's still very young. That you lost another young guy. The next one I want to, talk about, which is Tracy Cadell, the father of Trevor Lee. But before we do, rest in peace, Brickhouse Brown, and our condolences go out to his family as well. But Tracy Cadell actually was he was the founder of the Omega promotion, and he was pretty much instrumental in starting the careers of the Hardy Boys and Hurricane. So those guys really were more so just loyal to him, and that's pretty much why if you ever saw the Final Deletion, and I'm talking to everybody else out there, what was it? Total Non-Stop Deletion. I'm saying Total Non-Stop Deletion, and some of the stuff when the Hardys were doing the broken stuff, and you saw Trevor Lee with those guys, in the mix of Hurricane and the Hardys. It's because they knew that this was, that Tracy Cadell was his dad, and they were like, hey, this is our way of making up to or trying to in some way show our respect by having our son, his son, aligned with us.
Yeah, I mean it shows you the loyalty of the loyalty of a promotion, especially a lower promotion. The same type of mentality that the territories used to bring out in people, where when you got your start in a territory, when someone gave you your big break, the favor would be returned. That's always nice to see when people respect the people that trained them, the people that thought that they could be legends and superstars later on in their career, and little things like that show the respect. What did he end up passing away from?
I'm trying to find out what exactly he did pass away from, but he another guy still young, 50.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't really say that a lot of these different things have ended up being. It's not all just a bunch of heart attacks. It's cancer and cancer and heart attacks and suicide. It's sadly it's just mostly coincidence. It happens with such a large network of different performers. Sometimes it just happens this way. It's still a shame though.
Oh yeah. Actually, wow, I'm actually looking. Let's see, he died. Shit, he died on the same day as everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had 4 people die all the same day.
In one day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, damn. Yeah, so I'm looking now, so roughly around 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, you had 4 different wrestlers all go.
Yeah.
But our hearts and our thoughts and condolences go out to Trevor Lee and the rest of the family. Rest in peace, Tracy Caddell. It's I can imagine what it's like losing a father. I'm very, just for me personally, I'm very, very close to mine. So it's like I can imagine what he's going through, and and it sounds like, and it looks like from what I'm seeing that this guy was a really big supporter of Trevor Lee. Hence why Trevor Lee got into the business regardless.
Yeah.
And
then we go into our final death. Yeah.
This one has a lot of controversy wrapped around it. A lot of it's earlier this year. Do you remember exactly what Brian Christopher was put in jail for? Because
I think it was a DUI, right?
You wouldn't
No. Not, you know what it was? We talked about this.
It was it was about a month or so ago.
He ended up. What the hell happened? It was a dine and dash. It was either he went to pay for something and he ended up saying he didn't pay for something, and then he tried to leave. It was either a dine and dash or it was something with a hotel. It was one of those two things, and he was arrested, and think this he had a DUI recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
let's see.
on top
Okay,
of that, I think he had he got into more trouble because I think he was still under probation for the last one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he couldn't pay for the hotel room.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, he was charged for theft of $1,000. Yeah, so Shit, he was actually involved in a fucking brawl earlier the year with former TNA wrestler Chase Stevens. Shit, yeah, this was a fucking terrible year for this guy. And then,
it just seems like he couldn't exist outside of professional wrestling, and I don't think he wanted to live a certain lifestyle, and I think he didn't realize that he did he have like monetary issues or something? Did he just blew through his money, or
yeah, like this guy, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm blowing through his dirty laundry here, but this guy was basically doing personal videos, and and I don't want to make it sound like anything weird like that. He was doing like greeting, like, how do I put it? He was doing like those like paid, you know how like you have like the celebrity, they do like a personal video for you, like you tell them what to say, and you pay them. And you send them like it'll be like a birthday message or just something, because he was doing shit like that for people. you know, where people would pay him and he would, like, film, like, a personal message, and they would give him, like, I think they were charging, like, close to $100, you know, per recording or whatever.
Okay, this is the thing. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not saying this to be super callous or something or anything like that, but we've seen a lot of wrestlers hit rock bottom, and they haven't killed themselves. And I don't know what he obviously there was something more major going on. It had to be something with, you know, depression or just he was he seemed like he was either dependent on alcohol or maybe he was heavier stuff than that. But and I'm not saying this to like make an assumption or you know, like this is just purely speculation. I don't have all the facts. I really don't know what actually happened, but we've seen a lot of guys that have hit rock bottom and they haven't killed themselves. And, you know, I'm not saying that they should or anyone should kill themselves. It's a horrible, act just for, you know, having your family, you know, deal with the after effects of suicide. It's never something you should do. But we see all these guys that hit rock bottom and are worse off. You have the Perry Saturns and the Virgils out there that are basically destitute, and then you see this guy, and it's just like, do you think it was just the lack of family support, or do you think there's some underlying depression?
I've been very analytical of Brian Christopher for the past decade, on like on a level of just like, because like, you know, when. You can understand this when I say this better than anybody else. It's when you see people that you actually watched in live time, like you and I grew up during that period when he was a big deal with the Too Cool gimmick. So it's like after he's gone from that industry, it's like, and then, you know, we have the internet. It's like, okay, you and I watched from real time, from him having the success in WWF to him getting released eventually to him, you know, seeing, you know, whatever on whatever news popped up of him and whatever he was doing. So it was easy to follow him. So for the past, like, you know, decade or so or longer than that, I've analyzed it and I came up with the, you know, this is clearly, you know, a theory here, that him and Jerry Lawler never had the greatest father-son relationship. I've imagined Lawler always tried to be there for him, and, you know, he always tried to be as best of a father that he feels like he could have been, but I think deep down, Brian always just felt like, you know, he probably just felt like he was, you know, hurt or whatever, or, you know, because This has been a thing for going on for decades and decades and decades, that a lot of sons and daughters are very, very rebellious against their parent, or, you know, against their dads who were wrestlers and neglected them. You know, I'd imagine it was a bitter pill to swallow, and even to this day, for Charlotte to kind of warm up to her dad, because imagine just you're at this age and you kind of don't understand what's going on, and it's like, yeah, you see him on television, but where, you know, I want him in reality, you know. So there was always this thing going on that I felt like with Brian and Jerry, and this story comes down to he got a DUI and he had to bail at 40 grand, and Jerry didn't pay it, as a way of just pretty much trying to show tough love, and then, you know, Brian took it the wrong way, and it's one of these situations where you're pretty sure Lawler's gonna blame himself for it, you know, but
I mean, I hope it's, look, as much as, you know, I'm betting Lawler is blaming himself for this, and rightly so or not, we are not the people to judge. We're just talking about it because it's our job to really just analyze what we're seeing. We're not the jury we're not the judge and jury of what Jerry Lawler should have done. And in hindsight, anyone could have made the sort of decision like that. Because who knows? And if we were in the same boat, and we had a problem child that was doing all this crazy shenanigans, who's to say? And who's to say that? And it's kind of sad to say. Who's to say if he wasn't going to end up killing himself one way or the other, either through one of his legal activities or through a drug overdose, or God knows what other situations that could have happened. I personally wouldn't say that Jerry did the wrong thing, but it's a situation, and maybe if he had handled it a slightly different, maybe things would have been different. Another way, it might have not. Look,
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make this dark by any means, but I'm just trying to throw out an example of, I hate to say this, but things could have been worse, and I'm very sorry for what I'm about to say, but just as an example, how do you think Chris Benoit's dad feels?
True.
It's you as a parent, you did, there's no doubt Jerry Lawler. We don't fucking know what their life was like behind the scenes. I'm making a guess of what I see. I'm not going out there. I'm not going by news tidbits. I'm not going by any thing. I'm just some random guy that Jerry Lawler met fucking multiple times. Where I met Jerry a couple times, and I met Brian Christopher like twice. I don't know these people. I never did. So it's something where that's what I saw it as. You don't know what things were like behind closed doors. They could have had a great relationship. Who knows? But and ultimately, I'm gonna leave it as he's someone that had a controversial past decade or so. He had problems with drugs. He had problems with alcohol. It's known. It's a very known fact. Look at when they did the angle with Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole, where they had Brian come out and do that really, really uncomfortable storyline.
Yeah. I just think maybe things could have been different, but then at the same time, we don't know. It's maybe if he had been put in rehab, maybe it could have been a situation where maybe if Jerry had said, "Hey, okay, I've had enough of your shit. I'm gonna bail you out. I'm gonna bail you out. This is the last time. You're gonna go into rehab." But who knows? It's one of those things where I'm just spitballing. This is, like the old saying, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
You never really know. And the one thing I do want to bring up, and I think you showed me this a couple days back. Oh, fucking New Jack.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you wanted to bring that up.
Let's actually bring that up, because you know what? How many times have someone said something that fucked up? And I'm sorry, I don't give a shit what Jerry Lawler said to you. There is no fucking right for you to say something that disgusting about his son.
Before I get into this, rest in peace, Brian Christopher, Brian Lawler, Grandmaster Sexay. Condolences going out to Jerry Lawler, the rest of that family. It's probably one of the hardest weeks, just for this fact of, yes, everyone meant something to someone, but more so it's a loss, a big loss, and more of it's a constant reminder of the wrestling business takes a toll on people. Whether you die of natural causes, whether you lead to suicide, whether you lead to, just dying from drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, it's just one of these things where it takes a toll on you.
It takes a piece of you, of your soul, your heart, your soul, and your body.
Yeah.
And
but without any further ado, again, for those that don't know, New Jack couldn't help himself. That's the best way I'm gonna put it. He couldn't help himself to, and I'm gonna bring up something from almost 6 years ago already. Everyone remember when Lawler had the heart attack on Raw? He actually had wrote, and I remember this clear as day. I remember in real time when he actually wrote it, when I was on Twitter and trying to find it, all updates and stuff about it. I remember he wrote clear as day that, oh, yeah, fuck Jerry Lawler, I don't care if he dies.
That's one thing, okay? Whatever beef they had between them, fine. He goes and fucking says that, fine. Gives a shit. But when his fucking son dies, that's fucking low. I know New Jack can be kind of a piece of shit sometimes, but that's bad. No, New Jack, you're barely in the fucking business as it is anymore. You fucking show up once in a while when they do want to do a fucking ultra-violent match, and they can't get somebody that actually knows how to fucking work, so they get you.
I love how he's a guy that loves to come off as this redeeming person. He wanted to fucking completely shit on, he wants to completely go, oh yeah, look at this fucking scumbag Hulk Hogan, look at this fucking so-and-so, look at Benoit, he did this, he did that. You going out there saying, hey, I don't care if you die because you said racist shit to me. Look, you say that to yourself. Okay? You don't fucking put it out there for everyone else to see, because you know for a fact people are gonna write back to you, you're gonna fucking bitch at them, and then he's just gonna do what he always does. He's gonna fucking go back on fucking kayfabe commentaries and complain about Jerry Lawler again, and be fucking high on coke, and complain about everyone on Twitter, and it's just gonna be the usual shit that New Jack always does.
The sad part about New Jack is he doesn't fucking realize that beyond his shoots, and beyond all the fucking potential fucking murders that he's almost caused in how many different matches, is anyone gonna fucking remember him at the end of the day? Besides,
I'm gonna ask something very big of you, Patrick. Can we acknowledge, and this is, look, I'm gonna have a lot more explaining to do, because one, I've met, obviously New Jack's another one of those guys I've met, and I've took his side in a lot of situations, but I acknowledge the type of human being he truly is. Doesn't matter what he did to me personally, it matters what he's done to others and what he said, and obviously in this case, can you admit, and honestly, it's okay if you don't, could you admit that between how you feel about the Ultimate Warrior, that Jerome Young, a.k.a. New Jack, is a lot less of a redeeming person than the Ultimate Warrior?
At least, you know what the thing is, though? Ultimate Warrior, at the end, at least tried to be positive. There were moments where he was a piece of shit to a lot of people, but at the very least, he's had positive things to say about X number of people. Ultimate Warrior had been a person that was like, oh yeah, I like Macho Man. He was a good guy. Sting was another good guy. You know, he mentioned people he liked. Anytime you talk to New Jack, it's like, oh, I worked with those guys. They were all drug addicts. It's like, okay, is there anyone that you liked? Anyone at all? Is there anybody that had any redeeming factors?
This is the thing I don't like about him, is he talked a lot of shit about Jim Cornette, and then Jim Cornette had a shoot interview, and then him and Mustafa show up, and they act like buddy-buddy. Which, again, you know, it's one of these things where I'm not sitting here going, oh yeah, you know, everyone in wrestling is fucking has sticks to their guns, because the fact of the matter is, no one does. No professional wrestler, unless you are Jim Cornette and you have that whole I hate Russo mentality. No one in pro wrestling always sticks to their word. That's
because everybody's hypocritical. Because at the end of the day, they want to say shit, and then when it comes down to it, unless they're the biggest, toughest guy in the world, unless they're literally Haku, who will fucking bite your nose off if you talk to him in the wrong fucking tone, they will fucking back down because they don't want to get the shit kicked out of them. They don't want to get into a fight. And New Jack just comes off like one of these motherfuckers that likes to stir the pot, likes to talk shit, but then unless he's got a fucking knife in his hand and he knows that you're gonna beat the fuck out of him, he backs down. He goes into he calms down.
I would be careful if I were you.
No, because that's the case. He backs down unless he has a knife in his fucking hands and he's gonna fucking shank your ass. He backs down.
I would be careful if I were you. If I were you, I would not, because you gotta remember who you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone who's completely. New Jack is completely unhinged. You don't want him to ever hear something like this and go, "Oh, I'll show that motherfucker."
No, because I know he'll fucking come and stab me, because that's the type of guy he is.
Yeah, he's
I'm not saying that he wouldn't come to my fucking house and stab me to death. I know that he would do something like that. He's fucking nuts. But other than that, if it's a hand-to-hand fight, he's not going to fight you hand-to-hand. He's said it numerous times. And even his shoot interview, when he was like, oh, would you ever fight Haku? He fucking ended up saying, no, yeah, I'll fight Haku. I'll fucking stab him. That's not a fight. That's just murdering someone.
Yeah, or attempting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll read the tweet. He put, Jerry Lawler, now that your son is dead, why don't you go join him, you sorry fuck. And then he wrote, for some reason, he wrote that on his Kayfabe account, and then on his shoot account, Jerome Young, he wrote, this might not sit too well with some of y'all, and I could give less than 2 fuck. Well, he wrote, and I could get less than, but he meant give less, whatever. And I could give less than 2 fucks, but I wrestled in USWA with Brian Christopher at 92, and he was a very disrespectful little fucker then. So fuck him and his daddy, and for all those who don't like my post, fuck you too.
Oh, yeah.
That nice guy, New Jack.
Yeah, he's so nice, especially when he was talking about how OJ gave him fucking ideas for his gimmick.
Oh, yeah. The main motherfucker I want to thank OJ. Yeah, because that's something you want to brag about.
Yeah, you know what? We like to joke around. We like to, you know what? Fuck him. I think this is the last time we will ever mention New Jack on this. And until he finally gets that final murder charge, I think this is the last time we're going to talk about New Jack on the fucking show. He's an actual piece of shit, and I think I think think he is completely unhinged, and yeah.
So you mean to tell me?
No thanks.
So you mean to tell me that we're gonna crucify Hulk Hogan and never forgive him? But yeah, like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Lawler obviously has been on record of being a racist, and that's kind of why fucking New Jack has heat with him. But
yeah, but there's a difference between shooting on, like, look, Teddy Long didn't go out of his way and say, oh, Reed Flair, thank God he's dead. Now, Flair, you go along with him. He didn't. He just said he was a piece of shit. He was a racist asshole. I didn't like him. He used to say shit, in the back, and that was it. He did his shoot. He handled it like a normal human being, and said, "Look, he's a racist asshole. I don't want to deal with him." That's it. He didn't go on Twitter or on social media or the internet and said, "Oh, good thing Reed Flair is dead." Like,
yeah,
who the fuck
and
does
like,
that? Who does that?
And how petty is it too? Also, how fucking petty is it that the main reason why? Like, think about it. He's writing basically like, "Oh yeah, good thing Brian's dead." It's like, why do you feel that way? Oh yeah, he was disrespectful to me. It doesn't mean. I run into disrespectful people at least a couple times a fucking week. Okay, doesn't mean I want them dead. Doesn't even mean I want them fucking, like, for him to come out there and be like, "Oh, he was disrespectful. Good thing he's dead." What the fuck you?
Because, Eric, you gotta realize, he's not, like, people, and this is the main thing, like, we've seen his matches. You don't sell one of his pussy little fucking hand slaps, he's going to fucking try and murder you. So, considering what disrespect is to New Jack, is like asking what color the fucking sky is. To him, it's fucking constantly changing, but it's if you do it, and in his mindset that you disrespected him in some fucking manner, he's going to try and kill you. That's as simple as that.
I will say that, and this is the last thing I'm going to bring up about fucking New Jack, and I'm going to make this, very simple. Look, I understand, if anyone looks at my personal Facebook, who's a friend of me who's friends with me, they'll see there's a video of me and my friend John when we were 8 in the ring with New Jack. I'd like to clarify, yes, I was an 8-year-old, and at the time, I was like, I was seeing this guy jump off of balconies and shit and thought, "Oh, that's cool. This guy is cool. He's hitting guys with fucking, toasters and shopping carts. That's cool." But obviously I have enough sense as a 26-year-old, almost, eventually going to be a 27-year-old, with a conscious mind, looking at this and go, "Yeah, this guy's a fucking scumbag." The one thing I will say with him that I definitely think, yeah, he should have not, did he deserve to go to jail with the mass transit thing? Yes and no. Did he fucking stab mass transit? Yes and no. Mass transit did say cut him. A lot of wrestlers said that. Blue Meanie has said that. A lot of people have said mass transit asked New Jack to cut him. But does that mean, oh, let me get a motherfucking, a big ass fucking, like, what the fuck, like a fish blade or whatever, like something that they use to fucking cut meat, or, or gut fish. That doesn't mean fucking get one of those fucking really, like, 20, 30-inch fucking blades. That means take a fucking razor, gig him a little bit, and get heat. That does, or whatever the fuck it was. That doesn't mean, oh, let me get out a fucking long-ass blade and fucking cut a river into his, out of him.
he's not all there. There's a reason that he didn't make it in the major promotions. There's a reason that
he got a tryout for WWF or WWE. I don't know if you knew that. Back in 05, he got a fucking tryout match during a SmackDown taping, and one, Vince is petrified of the guy for obvious reasons, and two, they thought he fucking sucked. Because you take away he's not
a good wrestler. He's not.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal what my dad has always said too. For years and years, Homicide is the New Jack. That's actually that actually at the end of the day is more of a redeemable person that can actually work with better in-depth promos and more of a character depth to him. He is what you would want, and he's the person you'd look at and go, oh, okay, that's what New Jack could have been if he wasn't such a fucking, nutcase.
But that's the issue with him. He doesn't didn't seem like a real wrestler. He just seemed like a poser trying to be a wrestler. And when he couldn't do a transition. He can't do a transition to save his life. He can barely do Irish whip off the ropes. And then if you make him look bad, and then this is the best part. He's a guy that wants to look good in the ring. He can't. So he has to do all this stupid ultra violence, and he goes beyond way beyond what the ultra violence wrestling is supposed to look like. And he makes it real. He legitimately tries to hurt you. He legitimately tries to make you bleed.
No, he legitimately does hurt you. He legitimately does make you bleed.
Yeah.
He doesn't try. He succeeds.
Yeah. So
no one told him it's a work, Bubby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's, and I kind of don't want to talk about this guy. I usually brought him up as like a haha kind of like as a thing, as like a joke, but now it's just like it's gotten to the point where it's not even funny anymore. It's just sad. It's just like this guy he should realize that what he's doing is wrong, and he's ended up creating a career that no one's going to look on with any type of nostalgia.
You know what people look at him now, where, like, I love it where he's just, like, he doesn't give a shit when certain people die, but it's like he wants people to feel bad for him because Vic Grimes didn't want to take a bump, because when exactly does anyone in their right mind really want to take a bump off of a third balcony? And I'm not talking about the infamous one where he throws him through the tables. I'm talking about the one in ECW, if you remember, where
with the
goes
brain,
backwards.
The brain.
Yeah. Like, he wants people to feel bad because brain fluid came out and he can't see out of his right eye, and that his memory isn't more than like 2 or 3 days. It's like he wants people to go, oh, boo-hoo, New Jack, fuck, fuck everybody else, boo-hoo, New Jack. It's like, nah, maybe you did get a little bit of what you deserved.
I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, like, the guy is not all there. I personally, he's actually surpassed, and we've mentioned how big of a piece of shit Ultimate Warrior was as a person for a very long time.
Yeah, but I kind of, you were more of, and I'm being honest here, you were more of set in your ways of Warrior's a piece of shit. I saw him more as, Warrior has done a lot of shitty things. He has come off as a piece of shit. However, I've gathered and seen that the guy fucking changed. His kids gave him his kids gave him new meaning. His daughters gave him new meaning. His wife fucking helped him. She guided him to a better life. He really did fucking change toward the end a lot, in my opinion. So,
yeah, no, but I mean, that's the whole thing when we were talking about, like, he ended up redeeming himself somewhat. Still doesn't take away from all the shit he did.
Yeah, no, obviously.
But,
it doesn't mean, look, just because I feel like, and just because I'm a fan of Warrior, and because, you know, he deserved the whole thing, it doesn't mean the Warrior Award is something you want to do. Like, I'm not really all with the Warrior Award. Like, I'm cool. I think it's cool that they do. I think the concept is cool, but I think him being the spokesperson for it, not so much.
I like
the concept.
They gave it to him, and that's pretty much all. We're in this time period of, hey, if you can prove the person was a piece of shit, and the people are gonna flip out over it and have this big fucking, reaction to it, then, then they'll change they'll change the name of it. If not, if people are just gonna go, oh well, that's how he was years ago, then most likely they'll just sweep it under the rug like they do with half their roster. Because that's what they're doing with that's what they've done with a lot of different guys.
You know the story. I'm sorry.
No, you continue.
You know the story that's been around for a while, for a couple of years now or I think it's been the past year, where it's like, oh, we got to take these statues down now. We're starting to get to this point now in life where it's like we have to have revisionist history. WWE has been the king of revisionist history since the past 30 plus years. They are the kings. You could name. I'm not even gonna name anything, but you could just name everything. They're the kings of revisionist history. And it's like, and I want to kind of relate this into something that I just now stumbled upon, that it can really relate to, a little of culture now. But there's two wrestlers now under contract in WWE that this could probably haunt them a little bit. It's similar to the Hogan situation. 50-50. So, it was discovered that both Cedric Alexander and Tye Dillinger have had both very, so a lot of, in general, not too, politically correct and not, in attempted funny tweets about rape. Going back from 2011, 2012. So back.
Okay. So yeah, that just happened with the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got this coming up. So I see it now. It's there's a tweet from May 12th, 2011 at Jesus Christ, Twitter's fucking specific. At 10 o'clock at night, that Tye Dillinger, no fucking pun intended there, but he didn't have that gimmick at that time. Tye Dillinger writes a tweet. It doesn't show the reply. It just shows the fucking that it was directed to Allie, aka Cherry Bomb, from Impact, as well as Allison Kay, aka Sienna. He writes to them, which it looks like a conversation, and it looks like, it's something that meant to be between them. It's not rape if they're sleeping.
Oh boy. Oosh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that some people may not fucking be too, okay, point blank, you don't say this shit on social media. Nowadays, you don't even say this through text. if you want to make something like a joke like that, you say that in fucking person. You don't fucking, you don't put shit like, it doesn't matter. I know back then was different. We weren't in a time then where we are now, where it's like back then, like now we're digging up old laundry. We're digging up old dirty laundry. Obviously, you know.
Yeah, like look at how many tweets I can find from like 8 or 10 years ago.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be the new craze that the kids are going after. They're going to go after all old tweets from everybody. So Ty writes, I have no excuse for my old tweets. I was a different person 6 years ago, and I'm beyond ashamed of what I considered humor. I'm so damn embarrassed, and I'm truly sorry to anyone I've offended. Nice and forward. And then Cedric Alexander had written something along the similar lines. Trying to find him real quick. His was, it's not rape if you yell surprise.
Oh god, you know what? To be honest, that was a fucking meme. Like, okay,
that was a meme, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a meme, like, fucking 6 years ago.
Look, again, it's the same
For all the kids that are fucking looking this shit up, it was a fucking meme. Calm down. It was a stupid... Like, obviously, yeah, it's probably shit that you don't write on fucking Facebook or Twitter. But that was right around... That was around the time that social media was... You had a lot of people that were like, oh, look at me, try to be edgy. I'm gonna write, like, edgy rape jokes, blah, 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 blah. And this was like 6 years ago when everyone was writing this shit. And it's weird because, like, now it's just like everyone's just trying to self-cannibalize each other in terms of, hey, he wrote something really terrible that actually isn't that terrible, like 6 years ago. And we're gonna...
I don't know about you. No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't know about you. I don't feel like this is something that WWE should look at and go, oh, we gotta suspend them. I hope that nothing comes of this, because it's something, you fucking apologize for it and you move on.
Yeah, especially considering it's like fucking 6 years ago. It's like holding so... You know what? Like, you wouldn't fucking... Like, if it's a situation where they're not getting arrested and they didn't, like, actively fucking, like, assault someone, they shouldn't be getting fucking fired or suspended because they wrote something from fucking half a decade ago. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. It's like, come on, 2012, and when everybody was fucking talking about this stupid shit, like, everybody was making a joke about this. Like, it wasn't just... Like, it wasn't just men making this joke. It was also women.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Everybody calm the fuck down.
Fucking,
like,
yeah.
It wasn't the biggest thing in the world. People were making these stupid fucking jokes. You just didn't have all these assholes that are going online and self-cannibalizing. All the people that are doing this shit are the same fucking assholes that are fucking trolling people online about, like, saying that someone is a cancer or something like, oh, you should drink bleach, or you're autistic. Like, these are the same people that are fucking doing this shit now. Because obviously they have no fucking life because they have to look up fucking 6 years worth of tweets to find one fucking tweet, prove that this person, this fucking mid-card wrestler or this fucking cruiserweight is a piece of shit. Like, really, just fuck off.
Forgive me for my joke.
Who the fuck is even looking this shit up?
Forgive me.
I'm flabbergasted. Who the fuck is still looking this stuff up? Like, do you understand how many fucking tweets you'd have to go through to fucking find shit? Look, no. This is something for people to really fucking realize, like, online. The amount of shit that you post in a given year, now multiply that by fucking anywhere from 6 to 10 years, and you're going through that many fucking tweets or that many posts just to find one thing that shows that person's a piece of shit. It's not like how we were talking about New Jack, who's like constantly saying different things that shows that how much of a piece of garbage he actually is. Because anything you listen to him is usually him whining about something, or cursing about something, or saying that someone should die. This is just, hey, I said a bad thing 10 years ago, and some weirdo online is going to look through every single one of my past tweets and replies.
It wasn't even bad. It was stupid. It wasn't like. Look, and Eric. Before I'm not going to go on a tangent about the SGWs. I really don't give a shit about shit enough to actually do that. I'm going to say this: people, as much as rape is a bad thing, need to calm the fuck down about it. Not everything is meant to be rape culture. We're not going, hey, yay, rape is fun. No, it's not. It sucks. It's
just
demoralizing.
No, but my mindset is not everyone, like, people make jokes about things that are dark. People make Holocaust jokes. People make jokes about things that they shouldn't make jokes about. It's just a fact of life. You need to calm the fuck down about it. Not everything is a major fucking bowl of darkness every single day. Like, I understand people are fucking victims. People have gone through it. It happens. No one is going around and like cursing out fucking rape victims because of a fucking comment that some wrestler made fucking 10 years ago. Calm down, people. They're not making it into a fucking like punchline. It's not like every single day they're going, oh, look at this person. They're a fucking asshole because they got raped. It's not that concept. It was just a stupid fucking comment. Let it go.
I'm sorry for this joke, everyone, but you know who probably are the people that are looking up this shit? The same type of people that are doing the Kiki challenge and getting hit by a car.
This is the same people that are fucking just doing the Tide Pods.
You took the fucking words out of my mouth. Did you see that video? One of the people that people are now dancing to that Drake song, and there was one person that actually, I hate to say finally, because I
got hit by the car.
I say that I only say finally because one, that looks like that was something that would have happened, and two, the guy's okay. He fucking slipped on oil, and a moving car was coming, and he didn't hit his head. He just got a couple scrapes on the elbow. So if anything, that should be a testament of, hey, fuckers, don't do that. But yeah, I totally think it's the same type of people.
You're gonna keep having people do it because you have this new generation of, and I hate to say this because the fucking Gen Xers did it to us, but boy fucking howdy are these kids fucking stupid. Holy fuck! If you're dancing in the middle of the street for no fucking reason, you're eating Tide Pods, yeah, something's really fucking off. And I would expect that some of these assholes are the ones doing all this Twitter. Fuck! It's like dumpster diving. You know, it's like dumpster diving, but for fucking social media. Because Jesus Christ, really, people, the amount of tweets, the amount of posts that you'd have to go through. Think about it. How, I want everybody to at least try this. Try going back on your search history on Facebook, especially people that go on Facebook and they post something at least once a day. Now, try doing that for an entire year. Go down the list. Go down the lists and see all the different pictures, different posts that you've posted in a given year, and then you do that, and you go just try to go as far back as you possibly can. Because I bet
I'm doing that. I'm actually
the way.
I'm doing that as we speak. I'm gonna try. I'm not spending the whole fucking show doing this. Fuck that. I'm literally gonna probably stop within like the next fucking like couple of minutes to see where it really leads me, to prove the point that you really have to have a lot of time on your hands to fucking really do this. I just scrolled down. I just spent maybe about close to a minute scrolling down, and I'm not even past June.
Yeah. Now think about that, and if you're a wrestler or celebrity.
Yeah, I'm not even past June yet.
Yeah, no, just think about that. How much fucking free time these fucking cocksuckers have. Oh wait, I can't say that because it's a bad thing. Somebody's gonna listen to this and then say it in fucking 5 years. And then I'll get fired.
Imagine how much shit people are gonna dig up about us.
I don't even give a shit, really. I really don't.
What do you... If we're a fucking... Let's face the facts. Compared to everybody else, we are not a fucking no-name podcast by any means. We're a podcast making a mark, trying to just fucking, just basically get our name out there, and have the people that support us and keep supporting us and all that stuff. We're not one of these groups or one of these podcasts that are looking to now to get fucking signed by Sirius XM or iHeartRadio. We're two dudes just fucking doing our absolute best to entertain everybody. If you like it, keep fucking, going on board with it. And, we're not people that, oh man, they're signed to so-and-so, oh, let's fucking ruin them now. Let's dig up that one time that they made this joke.
That's the problem though, because you have people that are irritated or get annoyed with a certain wrestler or just want to ruin somebody just for the hell of it. But you know what the thing is, and this is the main thing I take away from this. The old saying from the Bible: "He who is without sin cast the first fucking stone," because who is out there who doesn't have some kind of skeleton in their goddamn closet? Really. Realistically, if I went down and looked at everybody's search history and every little fucking thing, who would be the person to go and say, "Hey, Pat, look at my search history. Look at all my previous posts"? I fucking bet you, no one on this planet has a fucking clear conscience about what's on their search history, on their previous posts, in any of their social media. Because there would always be something embarrassing or something they wouldn't want anyone else to see. Because that's the nature of things. Because no one is without sin. I'm sorry. And if you think you are, you know what you are? You're a fucking hypocritical piece of shit. That's what I think. Because these people they're fucking being bullied, and that's what they are. They're being bullied. They're being bullied because they happen to be in a position of being a high position in an entertainment company, and they get to do what they get to entertain people for a living. They make hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, and people can't let them just continue to do what they do, and they have to ruin them because you know what? Internet's full of fucking trolls and people that just can't let other people be happy. And that's what I think. You were always gonna have fucking trolls that just want on shit on everybody else's parade.
And again, that's why I was so adamant with the whole fucking Gawker thing. With them tarnishing Hogan and shit. It's like, and again, no, and I know I keep going back to this, for the past couple weeks, but it's like, no stretch by imagination am I one of these people. It's like, oh man, Hogan is a fucking moron come hell or high water. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. However, I still stand by what he said. What he said was something that he felt like he was angry about at the time for whatever fucking reason, whatever, da-da-da-da. And a lot of people saw past and were like, fuck, it's not like we fucking said anything, it's not like we never said anything. It's like, how many times have a lot of people in their lifetime said something racist or not? And it's not because they actually are, it's because they want to just fucking piss. They're just pissed at that one person. They're going to target the easiest thing possible. You know who are the people who are racist? The people that fucking actually, or the people that are against certain, or whatever the fuck. I was trying to avoid a tangent, but fuck it. I'll just say this very quickly. The people that are really racist are the ones that, don't fucking interact at all with any other nationality. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Middle Eastern, whatever. You stick to your one fucking, your one race, your one nationality, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's kind of you sticking. That's pretty. I feel like that's the racist, side of it. Now, really back to this, and we could drop this, or at least, I'm gonna drop this. I don't know if you want to say anything more.
No, I think I'm good.
But then I'll end it at this. The people that are constantly digging shit up, this is the beginning. This is the sad part, Pat. This is the beginning of this. This is going to keep happening for years and years and years to come, and this is what we have to look forward to. And honestly, this is a lot of the reason why if we didn't have this show, I probably wouldn't be on social media anymore, to tell you the truth. Like, it took the fun. It really, even a lot of fucking groups now, it's like you can't even fucking say anything without people now looking at it and go, oh, what a fucking scumbag he is. Let's fucking target him today. It's worse when you're famous. That's the best advice I can give to anyone who's younger than me and you. Don't ever become famous. If you don't like the attention, if you don't want people constantly digging up your social media, either delete your social media, delete your everything from your iCloud, or just don't become famous.
I think I kind of lied because I'm gonna add one point to it. It's gotten to the point where now it's a situation where you can't have nice things anymore. You can't have social media because they've ruined social media, and when I mean they, I mean the people that cannot have any other voice or any other, dissenting opinion, regardless of any situation that they end up, any type of dissenting, disagreeing voice is always going to be met with, oh, you don't believe this, so you're part of the problem. So, in the long run, all these, and I hate to use the old SJW line because, to be honest, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, blame them. They're the ones that doing all this. No, you have a bunch of people.
I am.
I tend to not, because you know what? There are people that, as much as people like to say, well, they're the ones that are causing all the major issues. There are a lot of people that know how to, keep their mouths shut, fucking say really stupid shit for no other reason. But then at the same time, it's like, who are you to be the judge and jury and executioner for any person that has a different differing ideology, and that's the main thing I get from social media. It's like everyone cannot have a differing idea. They can't have dark sense of humor. You can't have anything anymore because someone out there is trying to censor you for shits and giggles. And that's basically what I wanted to end that with. And then on top of that, and this kind of feeds into it, and this is as much as this is a very similar topic, I swear this is different. We have pure censorship of the WWE.
So, for everyone that caught SmackDown about 2 weeks ago or so, if you all didn't catch it, Randy Orton came back on SmackDown and fucking ambushed Jeff, and he did this thing where, you know, obviously he was just fucking constantly wailing on him, but he did this thing which looked great. It was fucking graphic, had me cringing, because Jeff Hardy wears those ear gauges. He has the expanded ear holes. So Orton did a thing where he was pulling on his ear hole, and it was just so fucking like refreshing in a fucking gruesome way, you know. And it wasn't even that violent. It was just something new. It was like, fuck, Orton's doing something new. Jeff is selling it. It looks like it fucking hurts. You know, people are cringing in the audience. I'm cringing at home. It's fucking great. It looks like, oh man, like we're gonna get a decent feud out of this. Now here comes some fucking, you know, half-wit on social media, and I could come on here doing the whole SJW impersonation, but I'm not. I'll say this fucking, because that gets annoying, obviously. I'll say this fucking, you know, and as said, you know, normal, and I quote, I don't appreciate the violence that I saw. My kids have been fans of Jeff Hardy's since they started watching wrestling. They literally got scared to death and starting crying because the way that Randy Orton beat Jeff Hardy. They were scared he had gotten hurt so bad. I will not let them watch this anymore if it is going to get this bad. When you upset my children, you upset me. I read that typo.
It's the same old fucking story.
It's the story with the Bootios way back when fucking the one person was like, "This is what they're selling to children. This is offensive."
Let me put it this way. This is the same story that we've been hearing for decades. And if WWE is stupid enough to listen to a middle-aged woman who's fucking complaining because her kids couldn't take the fake violence in a wrestling show, then maybe, I don't know, maybe WWE isn't for us anymore. Because they like to bring up the fact WWE isn't for us anymore. They always bring it up. And you have issues with the wrestling, issues with the storylines, and they always end up like, well, because it's not for you, it's not for the adults, it's for the children. And then I look at them and I say, I get that you're trying to sell toys. I get that you're trying to sell merch. But you look at the fucking crowd in a WWE event and it's mostly adults. So who are you fucking kidding? Who are you kidding?
But listen, I don't want people... No, continue.
You don't have all these fucking kids. The kids are not the ones buying the merch. It's the fucking parents. And if the parents are okay with them watching fucking wrestling, then that's their choice. As a parent, you can't decide that you want to fucking censor the world just because your kids got fucking upset because the bad man hurt the good guy the one fucking time. If that's the case, then they should have never been fucking watching wrestling. Because let me tell you one thing, The bad man usually hurts the good guy a lot. It's not the first time that's ever fucking happened. They get hit with chairs. They get hit with fucking kendo sticks. They get thrown through cages. It's been a fucking running trope. And you're gonna tell me now that because he fucking pulled his ear a little bit, that's the bad thing that made your kids fucking cry? Then they shouldn't have been watching it in the first fucking place.
So you mean to tell me, you go to a little kid and you see him with a Batman backpack, and it's like, what is the story of Batman? He became Batman because a guy who became the Joker fucking killed his parents. It's like, that's already a fucking
okay. Let me stop you here, because that's not true. You're either listening to Bubby or you're taking the origin from the Tim Burton movie.
I'm taking it from the one that Jack Nicholson was in.
Yeah, that's a Tim Burton movie. That's blatantly wrong, but Joe Cheadle was the one that killed his parents.
Okay, but yeah, by all means, correct me. Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
I'm just sorry. You were wrong.
No, I know. No, I'm not gonna argue with you. You know how much I don't know about comics a lot more than not.
Okay, this is a point that I'm going to bring up. You let your fucking kids watch Avengers, and that's meant to be for children. And you had a storyline where and spoilers. This is a movie that came out like fucking months ago. So if you haven't watched it by now, too fucking bad. Half the cast fucking dies. Half the cast fucking dies in this movie. And that is an Avengers movie that is marketed to children, and nothing. And you're telling me because your kid saw Jeff Hardy get smacked and hurt the one time that you're going to suddenly not have your kids watch the wrestling anymore because they were very upset.
Dude, 2019 is going to be a very telling... 2019 is going to be the be-all, end-all year for WWE on where we'll probably finally know where they're going to be in the next 5 years.
Because, we already know. Because
we're assuming it. We're assuming it. I'm talking about black, full fucking frontal black and white. What's going to happen? Because right now, obviously, the big news of Fox getting fucking bought out by Disney, and we're all speculating, maybe Disney and WWE will have a fucking affiliation at some point. Could very well happen, but with that deal, and I'm sorry,
it's going to be even more dude. We both know it's going to be even more family friendly. They're not going to be any type of gimmick or any type of thing that is not considered family friendly is just going to be completely phased out.
And I'm gonna say this once if and when it breaks out that Fox gets a hold of NXT, I'm gonna honestly say rest in peace NXT.
Yeah, because we both know once that gets the network treatment, do you really think they're gonna allow them to do half the shit they do?
They're not gonna allow Ciampa being called the devil by fans. They're going to tone down Alistair's fucking entrance and gimmick. Velveteen's gonna be totally fucking neutered. Shayna Baszler, they're gonna fucking make up her up a lot. Because they're gonna look at her and go, oh, Michael Hayes is gonna look at her with his fucking fat belly and go, oh, she's not pretty at all.
How am I going to be able to touch her pussy when I'm super drunk in the back?
Hey, I got this flask.
Carmella, get over here. Let me finger you a little bit.
I got this flask in my fanny pack, and I'm going to drink until Shayna Baszler's pretty, in my opinion.
Oh, God. I still love that story about him getting so fucked up that he was doing karaoke in the middle of Hunter and Stephanie's wedding.
Good. I'm glad. I hope they had a terrible time.
No, you heard what happened? Did you ever hear what happened?
No, actually, I didn't.
Literally, Linda had to cut him off.
Good.
She literally came over and snatched the drink out of his hand and told him he was making an ass of himself in front of everybody.
I'm fucking glad he was. Fucking glad.
That's literally the greatest story. Come on, how do you get that fucked up at your boss's daughter's wedding?
Oh, you're not driving a fucking... You're making that sound very hard when it's not. That is... For a bunch of wrestlers...
I mean, but, I know it's not... I know it's very easy to do, but it's just, why would you want to do that? Especially when you're... I don't know what the fuck he has. He has to have something on Vince. Because nobody... He fucking tried to fire... He tried to fire Titus O'Neil just for touching his shoulder. Let alone a guy making a drunken fucking fool of himself at his daughter's wedding. So either he hates Stephanie with a fucking passion, or he Michael Hayes has some kind of fucking gay sex scene with him and Pat Patterson fucking taped.
He probably has the footage. Michael Hayes probably has the footage of Vince and Pat Patterson with the Haiti kid.
Oh God! Oh man!
And that's one of the Bubby stories. But you know what? Though, here's the difference between Bubby in comics and Bubby in wrestling. When Bubby tells me something from wrestling, I know 9 times out of 10 it's true.
Bubby! No, they're not dead. They're in the Infinity Crystal.
That's what's insane. He gets everything with comics wrong, and he has a comic podcast now. But shit he says about wrestling, it's fuck, he's actually right.
No, but seriously, anyone who listens to his wrestling podcast, his
comic podcast,
God, the wrestling podcast he used to have was us, but anyone listens to his comic book podcast, can someone just call in to fuck with him? Just ask him questions about comics. I just want to laugh. I want to listen to that podcast and laugh.
You really want that in the worst way, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I would do it myself if I wasn't busy on the days that.
Well, I got something that'll make you laugh. So actually, this is not a laughing matter, but for the first time in 3 months, I broke the streak and was like, fuck it, I'll watch Raw. And no, it wasn't live. I watched it on DVR, and even then, watching it on DVR for I want to say I blew through Raw in about less than an hour. That is the most of Raw I watched since May. So for me, that's watching Raw. But yeah, so basically the whole premise, for people that didn't, Raw, basically Brock was there and they were teasing the whole thing that he's not going to come out, and if he don't come out, then Paul Heyman's fired, and and then he's basically being a douche to Paul the whole night, saying, "Get me a steak with broccoli," and he's sitting there fucking reading a magazine on a couch in the back, and people are making tons and tons and tons of memes of it now. And then eventually comes out, does a thing with he eventually F5's Kurt, gets booed successfully, which, you know what, I was like, okay, alright, he gets booed, okay, cool. Then Corbin gets out of the ring, and then he fucking, he pushes down Heyman and holds down to his face and whatnot. So, here's where the funny part comes in. The crowd is actually chanting, "We want Roman." I'm sitting there, I hear it, I'm chuckling a little bit. My dad uncontrollably just starts laughing hysterically. He goes, They're fucking. He goes, they're piping they're piping that in, aren't they? I'm like, no. I'm like, no. It's because obviously at that time it was already fucking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I looked it up to see if people were there at that Raw in Miami, and people were there, and they said, yeah, people were actually chanting for Roman. So I showed it to my dad. My dad stands up, and he's still laughing hysterically. He stands up, and he goes, I can see it now. Vince is back there like a little kid. He finally got his toy to work. And my dad proceeds to jump around. My dad proceeds to jump around and impersonates Vince. He jumps up and down with his arms in the air like a little kid. And he goes, this is Vince right now. And I did it. I finally did it. I finally got him over. It finally worked, damn it. I finally did it. It's all over. The booing is over. It finally worked. My plan worked. Finally did it, damn it. And then I'm like, obviously I'm fucking crying at this point. I'm like, yeah, they got one city out of like 1,000.
Yeah, but they got the. Look, it's Miami. It's like he's like Rock's retarded cousin. It's just like they're just gonna cheer him. Just be like, yeah, he's related to the Rock. It's fine. It's like, yay, Rock. Oh wait, Roman. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's just, come on.
They're in Florida. He lives there, and it's like, yeah, fucking, they cheered him, damn it. And it's like, yes, he's been getting booed for about 200 Raws since 2014, and you found the one Raw he finally got cheered. Good job.
And then next week it's just gonna be like, we don't give a shit.
No, they're just gonna be chanting. In Florida. No, they're back in Florida.
I mean, they got all the. I mean, to be honest, it's Florida, so it's mostly like children.
And crazy, and crazy fucking, drunk adults that commit crimes.
Yeah, they're basically the people that stick up a fucking Waffle House at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, man. As we're talking right now, somebody's sticking up a Waffle House in Florida.
Yeah, probably Tallahassee or something.
I don't know if you saw this.
Give me all your waffles, and I want all your $100 bills, and then cashier's gonna be like, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I could give you waffles, but I don't think we have too much cash in the fucking register. And then the guy's just I didn't really think it out too much, but I'll still take whatever you got. It's I got 100 and 220s. Is that good?
To be fair, sir, no one has visited our shop since 2011. Could you please set your standards lower for robbing us?
Eric, fuck you. I like Waffle House, damn it.
I'm not talking about Waffle House in general. I'm talking about the one in Florida. It's just nothing good happens there. I don't know if you saw this meme, but someone on Twitter wrote, I wish there was a zoo for crazy drunk white people. And it was and then someone wrote, yeah, there is. It's called Florida.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
Oh, I hate that state so much. I hope I never have a reason to go there. It's got to be something really good for me to not. It has to be something I can't pass up to go to that.
Have you ever been to Florida? You've never been to Florida. It's not bad. It's just
I've
it's
grazed
fucking
through
hot,
Florida.
And there's just a bunch of tourists and shit.
I've grazed through Florida on my way to Bermuda.
This is coming from the same guy who's like, I'd like to go to Impact.
Yeah, no. That would have, listen, Impact would have been something if I was there. That That wasn't... Impact would have not driven me to go there because Impact has come here many times, and I've fucking been to one of their shows, and they're clearly going to do more shows in this area, so by all means. However, to go to an actual taping there, that coincides with, if you gave me a huge enough reason, I would go. While I'm there, if there's Impact tapings, I will go for the Impact tapings. I would not go to Florida for that reason.
I mean, Universal's fun. Universal's fun. Disney, if you're not, like, fucking... Do you just hate, like, Florida because you never got to go to Disney or something?
No.
So that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from you right now.
No, it's never... The reason why I hate Florida is mainly because look at every fucking incident you hear. This is only one example. I have a couple examples, but one is you look at every fucking DUI, every crime. It's just everything relates back to Florida. So and so got murdered. So and so thinks there's a zombie apocalypse because this homeless guy ate this guy's face in Florida.
I mean that also happens a lot in New York.
Oh, of course it happens in fucking New York. New York is not exactly a safe place either.
I mean, like when you wanna find out about a K2, like the fucking synthetic marijuana, and someone's getting their fucking face eaten. It's usually also in New York. So,
you know where it doesn't happen? And I'll end it at this. You know where it doesn't happen?
Where?
SCU.
Oh. It happens there too. I've seen like fucking crazy.
No, not in SoCal. Not according to SCU. SCU is God's country, according to them.
Wait. SCU has Compton in it.
SCU.
I'm pretty sure
Compton
is like one of the. Yeah, it's a pretty fucking dangerous area.
I'm gonna see if this list was ever fucking, ever updated, but from what I recall, Compton was like number 5, Flint, Michigan was like number 1. Remember, like, Camden was like number 2.
Oh, Camden kept being, like, switching between 1 and 2. It was, like, usually 1 and 2 with, like, Detroit or, like, St. Louis.
Holy shit, it fucking updated. Okay, yeah. Alright, so here's the number... So here's the top 10. Wow, fucking New Jersey... Camden's not even on the list. On the fucking top 10.
Huh.
I'm gonna go by...
Still wouldn't go to fucking Camden. Still wouldn't go to Camden.
Wow, Camden... You go to 25? New Jersey's on here, but Camden is not on... Camden's not even in the top 25 anymore. You know what is actually on number 25?
Newark?
Atlantic City.
I can believe that.
So here's the top 5. Darby Borough in Pennsylvania. Opelika in Florida. Florida City in Florida. Flint, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan. That's the top 6 right there. So, Florida is on this list. 3, 4. There's 4 cities from Florida. There's about 3 from Illinois. Oakland is on here.
Okay, what's the number 1 now?
It's East St. Louis.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, East St. Louis.
Is Chicago in the list? So, like, Chicago has, like, had, like, a ton of murders, like, in the past year.
Dude, I'm on the fucking... I'm questioning the fucking legit... I'm like... Alright, the website I'm on is called alarms.org.
I hate to do this because we were like, oh, he's such a piece of shit. I feel like we're shopping for homes for New Jack right now.
The jokes come out anyway.
Yeah, like I just feel like we're like trying to find him a new house.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, well, he'll fit in there. There's a bunch of murders and like
you'll be right at home.
and like violent violence and oh god, it's a fucking weird world out there. Oh, good grief.
Myrtle Beach. Yeah.
What the fuck were we talking about, Roman? We were talking about Roman, right?
I want to know how we went from talking about Roman to then looking up the worst fucking. Was it about? Oh yeah, that's right. We got into Florida.
You have that weird thing with Florida that you just can't stand that state for whatever reason.
If I could give you a definitive answer of why exactly I hate Florida, without actually going there, I would have. But I just heard enough about it in the past life where I was like,
Yeah, but that's like the entire Deep South.
Oh yeah, well, again,
that's the entire Deep South. You're literally just listing reasons for why you would never want to go below like Virginia.
No, I have no fucking. Why would I want to?
I don't know. It's like an entire part of the country that you're just like kind of writing off.
In my opinion, look, do you want to fucking? I'm not. I know, obviously, you've been to Florida and you would go back, but
yeah, it's actually a nice state when you get past all the bloodthirsty rednecks. Okay, Eric, seriously, you don't actually, unless you go up to, like, the panhandle part of the state, you really don't deal with fucking rednecks all that often. You're mostly in, like, residential resort areas, or if you go down towards, like, Miami, it's mostly, like, people that are from, like, New York. It's second New York once you get to a certain part of the state.
Also, too, another thing with Florida, is there a true fucking identity outside of, excluding the crime, because crime is everywhere, but outside of it being a tourist attraction and a lot of fucking rappers being there and a lot of fucking people retiring from there, is there a real identity of Florida? Because
Cuban.
you have people that are bona fide New Yorkers. You know they're fucking New Yorkers. You have people that are clearly from Texas. You have people that are clearly from Chicago. You have people that are clearly proud of their being from Boston.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the same thing with California, because like how
California
many people...
doesn't really have. Actually, yeah. Now that California really doesn't have an identity either.
Yeah, because you have all the people from like the north of the state that are super conservative. Then you have like all the liberals down by like SoCal, and then you have all the people like that are in like the edge, like towards like Utah and Nevada. It's like, yeah, you really don't have a cultural identity there too. What we see from every state is like every state has its like, like we have the generic vision of what we see from every state. Like, like how people used to see like when Jersey Shore came out, where everybody was the generic orange muscled fucking, like basically Guido with the fucking big hair, and that was what they thought of as New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the same concept with every fucking state. You don't actually know what the demographics until you actually go and stay in the state and actually see who lives there and who doesn't.
Yeah.
But
and for anyone that fucking really gets fired up at me saying this, will I legitimately? I'm saying this out of just. I'm saying this all. Obviously I'm fucking like half. I'm like half fucking. I'm like work shooting you. And I'm not you. I'm talking about everybody else. It's like, would I legit go to Florida Yeah, again, if like okay, I have friends that live down there. I would go fucking visit them. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't go on a vacation.
Don't worry about
to
people
Disney.
in Florida. He wouldn't know how to get there to begin with.
Oh, I know how to get there, motherfucker. And I know where you live too.
Yeah, no, I kind of like if someone could come up with I don't have a joke on hand right now, but I feel like there's something there with a Pollock and a compass.
I like how you can't even come up with a joke.
I know. I want to bring in like the fans, you know, have them come up with the joke. I give them the premise of the joke, and then they have to come up with the rest. And then you can put it on my Twitter or on Facebook, so I can tell it to Eric for next week.
I think that's the funniest shit you've ever actually not meant to do. Well, you can't even make the joke. You have to set the premise up for it. And pass it off as an excuse to make the show interactive.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Pat.
I'm a heel. What the fuck do you offer me?
Well, we got a heel thing to talk about. Which we'll end the show with in a few moments. But before we do, Matt Riddle gets signed to WWE. You know, now it's.
We were kind of talking about this last week, so it's kind of like weird that they did the deal that quickly. So, what's up? Is he gonna be in a state where they're like legalizing pot or something?
How the fuck he's getting in that company is beyond me. Like, I know they've been fucking wanting him for years, but the fact that he fucking. How I want to know, because this guy, the reason why he smoked pot was because he doesn't believe in pain medicine, and he feels like he needs pot in order to get through a fucking match. He's not addicted to it, because you can't get addicted to marijuana, but how the fuck what did they do to convince this guy, hey, yeah, we'll give you this, that, and that. All you gotta do is just not smoke pot and show up at the performance center.
Unless it was a huge paycheck. But I've already heard that he's started to cancel. Like I've heard he's starting to cancel appearances. So.
They must have bribed him with at least $200,000 because, mind you, guys don't make that $200,000 to him is probably like he's probably like, oh fuck yeah. Because, honestly, with the way he was smoking, he's not making fucking Young Bucks money. He's not making fucking Marty Scurll money. He's not even making fucking Hangman money. He's not even making Austin Aries money. He legitimately was more in Evolve and a lot of other you know, promotions in Japan that let him be there. New Japan didn't even want him because of the pot. So it's like they offered something big to him for him to be like, I'll fucking stop smoking pot now.
Well, how much would you say? I mean, him working on the Indies, how much would you say he was making?
I would say fucking, you know, probably overall, maybe. Okay. Maybe I'm lowballing when I say 200. I'm gonna say maybe anywhere between 250 to 300. As far as what they're probably offering him, I'd say he's probably he probably made about no more than a fucking 125. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they really sweeten the pot because now if that's your calculation and there, you know, it might be off, it might not. I mean, it could be fucking dead on, but. If he was making that and they pretty much doubled what he was making from the Indies, I can't really blame him. It's not like we knew who Matt Riddle was. It's not like but he wasn't like the big independent star on the indie scene. He was out there.
Yeah, no, he's probably in like the top 30 of like indie guys, or I would even say that's not being. I'd say he's in the top 20. Like, people know who the fuck Matt Riddle was. Much like how people know who Keith Lee is, people know Matt Riddle more. And not just, wrestling fans. He has that UFC fucking career too. So, it's a plus that he's in his early 30s now, so he's got time. He's got a lot of time. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Hopefully they know what the fuck they got with him.
I'm really. I mean, like we said last week. I hope he doesn't just become like another generic MMA guy.
Yeah,
because that's the worst thing they could end up doing with him.
I mean, it's bad enough they have Bobby Lashley, who became an MMA guy, and what did they do? Here's something I saw on Raw. They had him and Elias sing "Rockin' Robin."
Okay, that would have been fantastic if Rockin' Robin actually came out.
That would have been fantastic if The Rock was the one singing it. As much as I like Lashley, out of key Lashley with that lisp going "Rockin' Robin, tweedly." No, not at all. Sorry.
Why are they doing that to him to begin with?
You think maybe it's on the guy himself too? Because you think about how he made a decent amount of money between both Impact and MMA, and it's like
he was in Bellator.
He doesn't have to stay there. He's doing this to himself. He's going along with the ride.
It's like we say, it's just like they really don't give a shit at this point. He's making his money.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit, so he's making his money. And same thing will happen with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's going to make his money. We hope for the best. I hope for the best of him as a fan. I obviously think from now until, because if they bring him in NXT now, he's definitely going to fucking be there till around, they're probably not going to call him up till a little later next year when NXT dies from Fox. But
oh wow, you're really just.
I have no optimism.
Really...
No optimism. Now,
yeah, no, let's see how it ends up turning out.
Yeah, but...
I mean, we both know what'll end up happening if it's on network television, but why can't they just, instead of just doing NXT, why don't they just do 205?
Who wants to watch a bunch of midgets?
Oh man,
I'm too busy celebrating. I got Roman over.
I just see. Fuck you and fuck your dad, because now I can't get that image out of my head. It's just him in the back, opening up a goddamn champagne bottle, going, "Good, I got him over finally."
There's one thing. I'm glad we brought this back up, because there's one thing at a Paul Heyman's promo that he said early in the night when he was talking to Roman. And by the way, I want to say this too. I know I was about roughly around a month late. I was almost 2 months late on this one, but I called it when fucking Roman was talking about Brock coming up to UFC. He didn't show up to our show, but he showed up on theirs. But then Paul Heyman said something that immediately made me think of Vince, where Paul was like, "Oh, you don't need another shot." He's like, "Why are you even have another shot?" He's like, the brink of insanity is when someone does the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again, and constantly failing and waiting to see another result. Vince McMahon has been suffering through the brink of insanity for 4 years, but now he feels like he finally got it.
I would love nothing more for next week for him to get booed out of the fucking building.
Oh,
I would
Florida.
I would love nothing more than that to fucking happen. Just for him to go, fucking damn it.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna watch Raw next week. I'm gonna watch 1 hour of Raw. 3 hours of Raw condensed into 1 hour, but I'm gonna watch Raw next week and I'm gonna see what happens. I'm actually gonna see if they actually fucking cheer this guy or boo this guy. Now I'm actually.
You know, the greatest thing next week. He doesn't even. Next week, he just gives Roman the week off. He's like, "Don't expect too much from the crowd. You got over one week. let's not test it. All right. Let's just know that I won. I finally won, and I finally beat the crowd and all the smarks. And
Imagine,
then
you know what? Oh, I got a great idea. Don't have Roman show up until the crowd just like every state goes, "We want Roman."
No. You know what they're gonna end up doing? They're gonna put him in the They're gonna put him in a trench coat and put him in the rafters for until SummerSlam.
Yeah, but no, we can't spot him. He can't be spotted. They need the chant, "We want Roman" in every fucking city. They booed him in Saudi Arabia. You mean to tell me that they really think this is going to work? Still.
No, they don't. But no one else but Vince does. Everybody else is just like, Vince, you gotta let it. You gotta let it go, buddy.
Dude. He's up in the morning. He's up right now, killing it in the gym, just thinking of how successful he was Monday night.
He's pumping a fucking 200-pound. Just a 200-pound barbell, and he's just like, yeah, finally got my man Roman over, yeah.
Oh, damn it, Dunn, it's time to celebrate. You finally didn't have to pipe in anything.
Give me. He's like, no, I'm not having my celebratory turkey sandwich. I'm gonna get the good meats today. I'm gonna treat myself.
I'm gonna have a filet mignon. Damn it.
He's gonna be like that, but I'm gonna get it with the French fries. I'm gonna actually put carbs on today. I'm not gonna have a fucking regular sandwich. Oh God. Oh man. Fucking Vince, man. He's gonna. The more and more we joke about this, the more and more I realize, yeah, at some point this fucking crazy man's gonna ruin his own company. He's gonna be in a nursing home, and it's gonna be like the end of. You ever watch the Jerk with God, what the hell's his name? Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Where he's recounting his fortune and how he got into that position. He's just sitting there in the middle of some street in LA. He's a bum. And he was just I was born a poor black child. And Vince is gonna be like, well, my dad never loved me, and then I had to beat him in everything I ever tried. So then I beat Ted Turner, and now Roman was my big gem in my imaginary crown, and he was doing all right for a little bit, and then I realized he gave everyone cancer.
So you mean to tell me? Oh my god, I got something for people to throw up in their mouths with. So basically what you're trying to say is we and everyone else are WCW and Roman Reigns to Vince McMahon is the Attitude Era.
Oh god, I almost threw up in my own mouth. Ugh. Oh god. Oh
yeah,
god.
That's what you're trying. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I was trying to say that he's like the fantastic gimmick that, or like the glasses thing that gave everybody like made everybody cross-eyed because that was like his breakout invention, and then it turned out like everyone ended up getting like eye problems and like becoming cross-eyed, so he was like sued for billions of dollars. That's basically Roman. Like, you think he's good, but then at the end of the day, no, he makes you cross-eyed and then like possibly blind from how bad he actually is.
We're the outside people. Vince McMahon is Jack Black, and Roman Reigns is the fat girl from Shallow Hal.
Oh god! Oh my god! Oh, you mean Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah.
Oh god! I still don't understand how she signed up for that movie, but whatever. Oh Jesus, Bubby. Oh god! You know what? Roman.
I'm dead on.
No. Okay, this is the last one. We actually don't hate Roman. This is just.
It's what it, dude. It's too
we're
funny
making
to make
fun of it because of how bad Vince reacts to actual fan, thought. Any fan feedback he's usually fucking terrible at. But no, Roman. Okay. Picture this: Vince is a bunch of deep South rednecks, and Roman is Donald Trump. Oh man.
Again, it's too fucking funny not to.
Oh man.
Oh man! So the last thing we got to talk about on today is your good old boy there, Suzuki, had something interesting to say about other wrestlers.
Yeah, actually, he was. Is he being serious about that, or was that like a?
It sounds
character.
It does sound kayfabe, but I feel like he is coming from kind of a realistic place too in his mind. Okay, so real quickly, I'm gonna find the article, and let's see here. Okay, so this is from Wrestling Inc. So he did an interview with. Who the fuck did he do the interview with? I think it was them. Okay, well, regardless who it was with. He says, and I quote, "There is one thing about Japanese wrestling lately, that so many wrestlers were just fans first. You don't get what I'm saying, do you? They're making money because of who they learn from. That shouldn't matter. They say they can because they learned it, but that's not it. It comes from work. They say they learned this move from their master. That's not it. It comes from practice. They don't get it. They're just wrestling fans, every single one of them. And they never talk about money. What's interesting about wrestling done by wrestling fans? Why don't you just play at home? I do this to make money, and more of it, I will step on your head to get it. It's fun to beat people up. This is where the kayfabe part comes in. That's honestly why I do this for decades. They do it for the chance. This is the shoot. When they lose, there's always tomorrow. What are you talking about? That's how I see it. If I lose, if I'm not popular, if my merchandise doesn't sell, then I have no commercial value. If I didn't have commercial value, then I wouldn't be standing here right now. I've always been here, so that proves my worth. People say I'm dirty. Pro wrestling fans don't like to talk about money. The way I see it, you can't talk about money if you've never made any. People who make the least always say it's not about the money. It's total bullshit. But then go ahead, take it from here. Do it for free. That's how I see it. They're fans first, then wrestlers. I don't even want to see them wrestle in front of me. Ultimately, I only want them to stand in the same ring I do. And they still think the money comes from the owner. I run a business, I have employees, but the money doesn't come from me, it comes from the customers. If they don't get that the money comes from the fans and not the company, then they're not wrestlers. What do you think?
He is right. There's a lot of people that are fans and they don't get that it's, at the end of the day, it's a business, that they should be trying to make money. It's a mercenary view of the wrestling business, and he's not wrong. I mean, a lot of it is, kayfabe. He's being a heel, but you can kind of get that there's like a sprinkle of truth there.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing I'm getting the vibe here is, are you doing this because you want to make money, you want to make money, you want to succeed, or do you just want the fans to love you? And you're not doing this. I think he's trying to say is, are you killing yourself? Are you destroying your own body just so the fans can get a cheap pop?
Rise out of the fans, yeah.
Are you just trying to get a cheap pop out of the fans, and you're destroying your body just because you're a fanboy yourself, or are you doing this because you want to make a better living for yourself, and that you're trying to basically make as much money as you can now, so you don't have to kill yourself later?
I think, though, I half agree with him and half disagree. I disagree with him on the parts of, because the one thing with his interview is it doesn't sound, it's probably because the way it was broken down from Japanese into English, it doesn't fully, the message to me fully gets a little lost, because I feel like
it's a little muddled, yeah.
I feel like he's talking, because the way it's perceived, it sounds like he's talking about even people like the Young Bucks, or anyone in general. It sounds like he talks about anyone that comes out there and goes, if I watched this since I was a child, and I want to be a wrestler. It sounds like he says that. It sounds like that's what he's targeting. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, if that's what he's targeting, I totally disagree with him. But if he's talking about the people, like you said, of, yeah, I'm like, I hate to say this, but it's kind of the truth. A guy like Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is an exact target of people from the older generation look at and go, why is he doing fucking a Spanish fly on the apron and almost fucking breaking his neck? And it's like, yeah, he's 23 years old and he's doing this shit. Why? Like, the Young Bucks calmed down their fucking style drastically, and now look, they're the most profitable they've ever been.
Well, he's also talking about how all these people are, and he's mostly just talking about like the Japanese, the situation going on with the Japanese side of pro wrestling, where all these, and I mean, it also kind of is a situation where it's also happening in the U.S. too. And this is something that he saw in the Japanese side of pro wrestling, where he was talking about, you have all these Japanese, he called them fanboys. You have all these Japanese wrestlers that are fans of a particular wrestler, and they go flocking to that person to basically suck in all the prestige from that guy, so they can get over by using their master, and I say master with finger quotes, as a stepping stone, rather than learning from the guy and not using him. Like, obviously, Minoru is, he's a pupil of Karl Gotch.
Yeah, but dude, he uses the Gotch pile driver, like, all the time. That's his finish. It's like, I think it's a little hypocritical.
But in a way, he made his own. Like, what he's saying is, there's a lot of these guys that want to be big stars, but they don't take stuff from their master. They're basically taking the prestige. They're not just taking. They're not taking moves from their master or their sensei. They're taking everything from them. They're using them as a stepping stone rather than going, hey, I'm Minoru Suzuki. I'm the best, shoot wrestler in the world. Minoru Suzuki built his own career on his own back. He wasn't basically leapfrogging off of Gotch's prestige.
Like, he's using, like, the Gotch pile driver as an homage to him, and yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying don't use it at all.
No, but what he's saying is the guys that now, especially in Japan, that are making money as pro wrestlers aren't doing anything on their own. They're basically going, oh, I was trained by so and so. That means I'm as good as that guy. Not. It's like how you have all these pro wrestling schools where the prestige is, oh, I was trained in the Hart family dungeon.
I see where you're going. It's like people I don't want to mention that I know that were like, oh, I trained in Killer Kowalski school. Yeah.
So you're basically you're kind of just taking the prestige, and you've done nothing for yourself, and you're using the prestige of whatever dojo that you trained in or whatever wrestler that you trained with, and you're using them, but you're not doing anything for yourself. That's what he means.
Yeah, if that's the case, then yes. Okay, if we're gonna use, like, an example, like, I don't know, like, who fucking trained, I'm just picking out a fucking example of that, because I don't know who trained who or whatever. But I'll use, like, Togi Makabe, for instance. Regardless of the talent that he is and the brute that he is, the guy basically pays homage to Bruiser Brody. Now, it's cool, but that's basically he basically took Brody's gimmick and he's just using it. The chain, the immigrant song, the knee drop.
Well, yeah, that's basically what he's saying. It's just like he's saying that the fanboys are only making money not because, they're not making money off of what they learn. They're making the money off who they learn from. Yeah, and he's saying that shouldn't matter. If you want to learn from a particular guy to hone your own skills, fantastic. If you want to be a shoot wrestler, but don't take my name. He's basically saying, don't take my name. If I train you, don't take my name and make it your own. make your own lifestyle. Learn to work and be a good wrestler on your own. And he's saying that the fanboy lifestyle of these, and he's basically calling them kind of like fake wrestlers, are guys that are going out there, they're training with these wrestlers, and they're basically stealing the gimmicks and the moves of all these guys that came before them, and they're not paying homage. They're just straight up swiping it.
Right. No,
Like,
no. I mean, like, I guess it's like, because obviously he understands what's going on there a little bit better than us as far as like behind the scenes shit, and it's like we only could relate it to what we know from like what we see from like the American wrestlers, I guess you could say. So it's like, but in his, if the examples he's making is off of guys like a Makabe or even someone, like, again, I don't know who the fuck trained who, but if I could relate it to, okay, if I could use an American example, and it's like, I'm trying to fucking think.
well, look at. Yeah, I mean, this is an American example, but look at how many people have come out of the Heart Dungeon, and then there's certain people that have been able to make a name for themselves and do fantastic, but then you have all these people that have coasted on the name of the Hearts and done nothing. It's the same mentality here, where you can't coast on a name that isn't yours and then expect that you're going to be remembered or you're going to make any type of money outside of just ripping off the people that you trained under. Like, how many people are trained under the Hearts, and then all their finishing move is the sharpshooter, because we haven't seen a million other people do the fucking sharpshooter.
I guess the best way to put it is like how, like, okay, like, I don't want to give names, but like how, like, a friend of mine on Facebook, he never cared for Natty, he never cared for Charlotte, because they're using basically their family's legacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, sometimes it's fine for a person to use their family legacy, and like we've seen it with guys like you have Cody Rhodes, where he obviously he's the son of the late Dusty Rhodes, and he's made a name for himself. He's not doing the same gimmick. Everything about him is a homage to his father, but at the same time, he's a heel.
Yeah,
he's a heel.
As much as I give Orton shit, even Randy Orton fucking totally different from his fucking dad. His dad was a fucking cowboy that wore a cast. Randy Orton's a fucking psychopath with tattoos. Or at least is trying to be. But I get it, but I guess I understand. Well, no, if that's the case with Suzuki saying, then yeah, I do agree. If it does pertain to like people in like outside of Japan too, then yeah, he probably has it right. Like what you first said, where it's like, you're doing all this stuff to kill yourself just to, get a rise, and yeah, that's basically what how a lot of people feel, how a lot of veterans feel about workers now. So that's really no surprise there. But is there anything else you wanted to cover before we get out of here?
No, I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. And with that said, folks, thank you all for listening to this episode. Now, we're just gonna make this quick announcement. We're just gonna be due to a lot of things now. I'm just gonna be blunt here. We've been doing shows at, obviously start of this summer. I wanted to have everything up by Tuesday at 4. It looks like that may not be the case, only just because of, my new change of schedule for me personally, and, honestly, Monday's just, me and Pat on the shoot, and we were doing a lot of these after a while on Monday nights, really late, and Monday for me, I'm up by like fucking 8:30 in the morning. So it's like I'm almost clocking in 24 hours, so I couldn't physically do it anymore on them, So it's like now we're probably and it's like to get the show up by Tuesday at 4. It's not feasible anymore. So what the new deadline will be, folks, is you will now look for the download every Thursday night. Every Thursday night, you will find it roughly around. Actually, no. Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. Our old OG time slot. You'll get you'll see the download come up on your iTunes, and yeah. So Thursday nights now 9 p.m. No. Thursday nights 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when you'll find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. So by all means, and obviously, KayfabeTalkRadio.com. So, also go to Facebook.com/Kayfabe Talk Radio. You can chat with us there. And, some plugs to all of our friends. Obviously, I plugged early in the podcast. CampNaz.com. Go there for my boy Murdoch and Leroy Green. It's a group effort there. Also, 69 Minutes of Eargasm with Joel Gertner. Stay tuned to him and follow him on Twitter at StubMuffinSays. Retro with the Stro every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VocNation.com. Also, why not? But in all fairness, and all joking aside, go to Third Floor Comics, the Third Floor Comic Collectible page for nerds, bunch of nerds. No, but the name of the podcast is The Fantastic Floor, where they talk about comic book stuff, stuff that Pat knows more about than I do.
Yep.
A friend of mine also, I feel bad because, I haven't got to plug him, but, everyone, I know podcasting, there's a lot of time to be, there's only so much time you can have, but, I'll just shout him out. A friend of mine that I used to work with a long time ago, Nerds in the Square Circle, they have a very good podcast, and it's him, it's a friend of mine, Marco, and a few other people, and they have a very good roundtable. So it's one of those roundtable podcasts, and I guarantee you'll probably enjoy it. And obviously Aero Lucha, everyone, please check out www.aerolucha.com. And, yeah, I think we got everyone covered. And, on Twitter, you could follow our good old Beach Ball there at J.R. Earl's Art. Go bother him and make fun of him and all that stuff, and quiz him on comic book stuff. I'm on Twitter, Everett the Red 211, and Mr. _Boso for your crimes and complaints on the show, and finish his joke for him.
Please, I need
something about a Pollock and a compass.
Polish joke with the compass.
Not like it's like a 30-second Google search or nothing. Yeah, literally silent because you didn't think of that.
You're not supposed to have this much logic. You're fucking Polish, all right?
Dude, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna I'm not even going to say the shoot time of when we're recording this, but the fact that I have this much logic at this time in the night is unbelievably impressive. This goes to show how much of a night owl I really am.
Yeah, the guy on the shoot side of things was falling asleep through two podcasts at a failed attempt at a Let's Play. Yep.
You know what time I fucking woke up that day?
Where?
With that said, folks, I don't get your choice for your outro, but you know it's fine. Till next time, folks. Keep it kayfabe.
Bitches.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know